Well, here I am with Skamania EMS and Rescue. I just got to spend about the last 3 hours as a patient down on the Wind River. And the scenario we were working through was that I had a concussion and a broken ankle. Thank you. And that I was in the river and hypothermic. And it was really cool to watch this team come together and perform their rescue, where they showed up on a scene. They were given very little information about what was happening and trying to make it as true to life as possible. And within a few minutes, I had water rescuers to me, providing aid, and they had to problem solve through a whole lot of complicated issues. Communication across a noisy environment, using radios over a long distance. But I was really impressed with how their team came together, and I wanted to share a couple things that I learned in this process of observing their team that can help anybody in leadership or anybody who works on a team in business. And so here's a couple of things that I saw that their team did really well. The first thing is and I did this, by the way, twice over 2 days. The first thing that I saw them do that was really impressive was they had a ton of psychological safety.
I know. Okay.
You know, I talk about this a lot, and I still think it's really important to remember that psychological safety is about being able to, really say what you think, um, without fear of repercussions, without fear that somebody's going to be making fun of you, or that there's going to be some sort of consequence or ego. And in an environment like this, where safety is paramount, that somebody is able to stop everything and say, that doesn't look safe. Somebody could get injured. That could damage our equipment. And even if it's the newest person on the team, that they're able to say that, and that it will be heard and listened to and respected. And I think I saw that over and over again. The second thing is, there's this great Oscar Wilde quote, which is that the biggest misunderstanding about communication is that it has actually occurred, right? The biggest misunderstanding of communication is that communication has even happened. And one of the rules that I like to apply when we're talking about communication is take responsibility for the message received.
So are we good right here?
Okay, hold.
This is the I haven't done this part yet. Just push spin it.
Okay. Okay, we're pivoting the crane, so Tyson's gonna ease out as it comes.
Just drop that. Let go.
All right, come around.
Nice and slow.
Prepare to lower, Kyle.
Is take responsibility for the message received, right? So I say something, I think it's clear, I think it's understood, but am I, as the speaker, also making sure that I was heard and understood properly? And where I saw miscommunication or disagreements between people, they took the time to make certain that the other person fully understood the message that was being communicated. They took the time to take a few extra seconds, not just to say, does that make sense? Do you get it? But like to say, this is what I hear you saying, or can you tell me back what you think you heard? Hey, are we in agreement on this? This is so important within the culture of high performance teams, that they actually take the time and space to make sure that communication has actually happened and close the loop on communication. Now, I saw this sometimes over radios, repeating things back, but yeah, really, really great. And then here was the other thing that was really interesting, and I actually just learned this during the debrief at the end.
We're good, Sam. Perfect. Keep going. Nice and slow. Good.
Is both of the shifts that I got to work with had someone who was the most trained person for the type of rescue that they were doing. That this was like the senior person and the most trained person. And there would be a temptation for that person to really step in and kind of take control, or to put themselves, in the heat of the action. But what happened with every single group, apparently, and I didn't know this, like, right? I'm new to this group. I don't know them. I actually didn't know who was the most senior. I didn't know who was the leader and who was new. And it was interesting that I couldn't tell because they've even though there are people who are designated as leaders, who are designated, as lieutenants and captains and things like that, they have a very flat structure. They have a structure where there isn't a ton of ego. There isn't a ton of like status protection going on. And that the person who was most highly trained in swiftwater rescue was better positioned by stepping back, observing, leading, and empowering their people rather than, hey, get out of the way, let me show you how to do this, right? But instead saying, hey, you do this, I'll make sure you're doing it well and that you're well supported and empowered to do it. And so I really saw a very empowering and invitational leadership over and over again. So, these are great things to experience so that we can learn more about how we might be able to do leadership. This is one of the reasons I do these things, so I can learn this. Well, the number one reason I do it is because it's just fun and cool.
Well, it's about 2 hours. I've been being rescued. Southwest Washington. I'm about to go up on the crane into the Stokes basket here. It's quite the adventure.
But one of the other reasons that I love doing this is because this gives me those lessons that I can see in a different environment, an environment where leadership and team culture is so clear, is so obvious because of the urgency of the situation. So then how does this work when we're talking to a dental practice owner, or we're talking to, the owner of a trucking company, the owner of a roofing company? Because those things are still in place. Those things of, empowering leadership, of taking control, taking responsibility for the message received, and creating environments of psychological safety for everyone on your team. This is how, hey, if you need a rescue on your team's culture, look at those three things, right? Look at psychological safety, look at clear communication, take responsibility for communication, for message received, and empowering leadership. I've seen it now on the river in the real world, and it's something that we can help you with in your business. Hey, if you would like to talk about how we could bring these kind of ideas into your organization or onto your small business, send me a message. I'd love to talk with you more and see how I might be able to help you with your work or your team.
You got your other gloves yet?
What?
Yeah,
it's stuck under.
Yep. Okay.
Well, this is a crazy experience.
I'm hanging on you, Jim. Give me some tension. No, tension.
Up on Jim! Up on Jim! Down on Tyson! Hold there! Hold!